Good evening, and I welcome you to your transformative program, Politics and Beyond, with your host, Emmanuel Jr. Remember, we are still in the month of our independence, and if you have forgotten, this is the month known as March. We are 67 years old as a country since we attained independence. We've been through 4 different Republican eras. In other words, we've gone through 4 different constitutions. The last one that we are celebrating, which is the 4th Republic, it is 31 years old. And that is why with all this number of years, which someone will just say they are just numbers, it will be very important for us to have a sober reflection and a conversation to discuss indeed what we are doing as a country. Is it that we are just piling up numbers, 31 years and we are okay, 67 years and we are okay? Or we want to live a meaningful life, not necessarily for our sake, but for the next generation, the children that we are giving birth to, and even those that are yet unborn. And that's why this evening's conversation is going to be a bit different from what we've been having on this show. It is going to be a conversation that is supposed to provoke each and every one of us to have a sober reflection on the journey so far. And so today's topic that we are going to discuss has to do with the past, present, and future of Ghana. And it is very important we have this conversation, because if we don't know where we are coming from, it will be difficult for us to appreciate where we are. And most importantly, it will be impossible for us to even know where we are going next. As always, you will get opportunity to get interactive with us through our social media platform. The number which is going to be on the screen, 055-699-9999. Send in your messages, your comments, and we'll have an interactive session. At the end of my take, we'll also give you the opportunity to reflect on a question which will solicit for your views. You can also view us online on our WhatsApp, Facebook links, and send in comments through the Facebook links also, which will be read to you. So today we are looking at the past, present, and future of Ghana. Now, Ghana launched as far back as 1983 a program known as the Economic Recovery Program, and it was aimed at reversing the protracted period of serious economic decline. Now, from 83 to date, Ghana has introduced different policies and programs aside the Economic Recovery Program. However, the fact remains that we are still confronted with the challenge of achieving 3 key things: sustained growth, accelerated growth, and poverty reduction. The alarming reality is that Ghana's economic indicators keep weakening. And that is the problem. That's the worst part of it. If you look at the past and you compare it, you juxtapose it to the present, particularly into the 4th Republic, we've lived 31 years on now. And 31 years ago, Ghana moved into a multi-party democracy. And when we started in 92, we've had the opportunity of having just 2 political parties leading as the NDC and the MPP. President Jerry John Rawlings came in, started actually the 4th Republic, and he was committed to implement policies that were aimed at stabilizing the economy and regain control over the budget deficit. Unfortunately, this did not record much success. Then came 2000, when we had President John Agyekum Kufuor. He committed to setting the primary goal of the new government as restoring macroeconomic stability as an anchor to revive Ghana's economic growth, support the development of the private sector, manage the colossal national debt, fight corruption, and invest in human development. That was his focus when we got into the 2000 election and after he had won. Unfortunately, again, at the end of his tenure, the Ghanaian economy was characterized by severe imbalances, as reflected in a high fiscal deficit, which was driven by large increases in public spending amidst stagnating revenues. Then moved on to 2008 election, which gave birth to the 2009, led by President Evans Atta Mills of blessed memory. He was confronted with the challenges of addressing the economic imbalances that was left for Ghana in 2008. And when he took up the leadership mantle, the new government, their strategy was centered on the implementation of an austerity budget, which was introduced in March 2009. The budget was designed to lay a firm foundation for fiscal consolidation and macroeconomic stability to pave way for the resumption of sustainable economic growth and job creation to support poverty alleviation in the country. So that was also the focus of President Evans Atta Mills. He unfortunately died, and then came President John Mahama. He took over, and to a very large extent, he followed the path of President Atta Mills. His government and the development partners of Ghana, some development partners of Ghana, signed the Government of Ghana Development Partners Compact 2012 and 2022. The focus, or it was dubbed the Compact for Leveraging Partnership for Shared Growth and Development. Now, the focus of this, and if you had followed it critically, you realize that the compact marked the beginning of the sharp drop of aid to Ghana. And from all indicators and indication, it was pointing to a Ghana beyond aid by the year 2022. So that was also the focus of President John Mahama. Then came the year 2017 when President Akufo-Addo assumed the leadership role of Ghana. We are still experiencing his leadership. He presented a number of key policies that can best be described as high hopes policies. And I'm sure everyone had significant hopes in those policies. These policies were aimed at moving Ghana from the Georgesburg economy to a production economy. And that was actually the main focus. Unfortunately, even though the President Akufo-Addo-led administration has not ended, but from all indication, the current situation that Ghana finds itself in, it can rather be seen as a hopeless picture. And that is why it is important we are having this conversation. Now, it is characterized by gross public debt, which remains very high, weak domestic revenue mobilization, fiscal imbalances, employment opportunities remain grossly inadequate to absorb the growing labor force. Just a few weeks ago, it came up that the youth unemployment rate has also increased. So it is affecting us. The economic growth has also not helped much. Poverty and inequality remain unacceptably high. Large disparities in access to quality education and health services persist. Corruption, greed, and wanton display of affluence have become serious problems, and all of us are seeing it. Currently, the country is at a stage where it is extremely difficult for it to achieve any meaningful and sustainable development. And that, again, is worrying. The realities confronting Ghanaians are that, one, and first off, under the present constitution, it will be difficult for almost all political leaders to place the country and the general well-being of all citizens above all other considerations. That is a fact. Again, a leader of any political party will find it difficult to make appointments based on competence, integrity, and patriotism, rather than party loyalty. And that is also one thing affecting us as a country. The third reality confronting Ghana is that the current expectation so far, or the current expectation, is for the leader of a party to discriminate in favor of party members against his or her compatriots outside the party. And this development has come about as a result of certain flaws in the constitution which need to be reviewed. The fourth one, public confidence and trust in public institutions and state-appointed officials have been eroded with the repeated blatant scandals involving massive impropriety and wanton dissipation of public resources. That is the reality. And so it is important for us to start rethinking the future of Ghana. Now, if you make reference to Article 35, Section 5, and Section 6D of the 92 Constitution, it requires that the states will make democracy a reality by decentralizing the administrative and financial machinery of government. And for avoidance of that, let us go through it. Section 5 reads, "The states shall actively promote the integration of the people of Ghana It didn't say political party members, but people of Ghana. And prohibit discrimination and prejudice on the grounds of place of origin, circumstances of birth, ethnic origin, gender or religion, creed or other beliefs. That is what the Section 5 tells us. Now, if you look at Section 6D, it says that make democracy a reality by decentralizing the administrative and financial machinery of government to the regions and districts, and by affording all possible opportunities to the people to participate in decision-making at every level in national life and in government. Unfortunately, this is not happening as far as Ghana is concerned. These are some of the practical actions as we move into the future. So, firstly, there's the need to strengthen the separation of powers among the three arms of government. We need to provide checks and balances, and it is one thing that we are lacking in this country, especially on presidential powers. Secondly, we need to overcome the issue of concentration of powers in the executive and over-concentration of authority. In Ghana, the very moment you are elected the president, you are above every law. The very moment you hold certain positions, you are above every laws in this country. And so these are practical actions if we need to embrace the future with some level of certainty. Third, and this has been an argument that has gone on over and over, the 4-year term of government, which makes policies to be driven by short-term political interest, instead of the national interest, needs to be reviewed. And I think it is important we start looking at the tenor. Fourthly, we need to enhance transparency and strengthen accountability and good governance. The Council of State should be composed of Ghanaians with a wealth of experience, well-respected and knowledgeable statesmen, distinguished and knowledgeable traditional leaders, credible and experienced entrepreneurs, renowned university academics, and the like. Fifth, the Council of State should be made to act as an upper chamber of the legislature, with supervisory powers that would enable it to call for a review of government policies and decisions that are not deemed to be in the interest of the national, or the national interest. Now, having gone through this, we need to appreciate the fact that economic growth and transformation have continued to elude our country called Ghana, and by extension, Ghanaians, including you and I, due to lack of the following. 1, lack of leadership. 2, lack of policy discontinuation, weak public institutions, lack of transparency and accountability, corruption, and what we have always talked about, the devil known as the winner-takes-all politics that Ghanaians and everyone seems to be embracing. Now, having gone through all this, it is also important that we invite you to be part of it. And so with this as a background, I need you to reflect on this question. And we want to know, how do we build the Ghana we need? In other words, we've listened to the past a bit, we've looked at the present. Let us focus our energy on the future. How do we build the Ghana we need? Send in your comments and send in your questions. Send in, your opinion. It is important that collectively we build this country. Use the WhatsApp line 055-699-9999 and it will be read. Let's get interactive and engaging. We are going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, I'm going to introduce to you our guest who is going to lead us through this conversation. Just stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Our guest is someone that everyone knows in this country. He's not a stranger at all. In fact, when the flyer was circulating, there were about 3 individuals who decided to describe the guest. And so I'll use their words. Someone said, this is a patriot. The other person said, this is a nationalist. And then the third person said that this is a man who loves humanity. Indeed, if you know him, you will know very well that this is a man who loves humanity. He is no other person than our own Brigadier General Nunu Mensah, retired. 2 times Chief of Defense Staff. Indeed, the only person in the whole of this world who has been a Chief of Defense Staff 2 times under 2 different regimes. We are privileged to have him this evening to discuss with us. And the reason why we are having him is also because this is a man who has seen it all. He was there before independence. He saw independence, been through all the 4 republics, currently with us. And I'm sure he can see the future. And so it is important we have a conversation with him. General, welcome to Politics and Beyond.
Thank you very much, and God bless you.
God bless you so much. And we are so happy that despite your age, your strength, all that, you are always willing to share with us, especially the younger generation, the knowledge you have acquired. And so we want to say thank you so much for this privilege.
Thank you very much.
General, you've seen it all, as we keep saying. The truth of the matter is, you were there before independence.
Yes.
You were there during independence. You actually worked with Nkrumah, did you?
I did. I was a young officer at that time.
At that time.
And with intelligence, I was quite close to Nkrumah
right.
As Prime Minister in those days.
Right. And you've been through all the 4 republics, including the current one, which adds up to the 4th Republic of Ghana.
Right.
You've been through it all.
That's right.
How will you assess Ghana's current state?
Sometimes I wake up and I want to weep and weep for Ghana. But Ghana shouldn't be where we are at the moment. It should be further away, like where South Korea or Malaysia or even India, closer behind India.
Yeah.
But we are far, far behind. That saddens me quite a lot. Because we had everything that any nation, far more than many nations had. And yet, we still go around with a bowl in hand, asking for help. I am from Winneba, and you learn to climb the coconuts.
Right.
You push out your buttocks until you are up there, then they leave you hanging there. Either you fall or you continue.
You continue.
I think we've asked for too much help over a long period. By this time, we should be giving help to others ourselves. Like what Dr. Nkrumah did early in our independence period, when a nation like Mali and Guinea were in trouble, and he went to their help. But for a very long time, since its overthrow in 1966, we've been trying to move forward, but a few paces forward, and we fall back many more paces. In effect, we are getting nowhere. I wasn't privileged like some of you were. My parents were fishermen. My mother was selling plantain in the market. My father was a fisherman. I don't know what happened, but I felt that I had to improve my life. I didn't depend on my father or my mother. I felt that when I was a port, I had to go, and I saw the road forward was rough. And I couldn't depend on anybody to support me all along.
Right.
As early as that period, I began to think of my future. And it's amazing how I go to school, and it was a hopeless situation. But I was determined to succeed. And Ghana shouldn't be going around begging people for help. We've been with over the World Bank and IMF support for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why we couldn't wean ourselves away from them and be on our feet, like Malaysia and others have done, South Korea and so on. And that, as I said before, saddens me a lot. And I try to find out where are we, where we are what have you been doing wrong? Somebody described me as a patriot. Indeed, I am a patriot. And then I sit down in my room and I want to weep. And when I see Ghana, where Ghana is, where the hell, where are we here? Why are we not further on than where we are? And I find that's one of the problems we have.
Yeah.
And that we don't have people who love our nation enough, who would want to die for our country. We don't have them. You know, you talk about leadership.
Right.
Somebody goes to parliament to be a leader, to be a parliamentarian, not because he wants to lead and make Ghana a better place than he found it, but he wants to get in there, make some money, buy a Land Cruiser, and that is the vision he has. The vision should be more than that, than just going to make money for yourself. I've never, I don't know why, I believe I was actually born like that. Leaders are not, many of them are born, they are not made. You are born a leader because you have certain things in your system, in your body, that makes you a leader.
Yeah.
You want to succeed. You are not afraid to speak your mind. You know, and that is some of the things that are dragging us back. I have been, as you said earlier, been with almost every government since independence. With Nkrumah, as a young officer there. I remember one day I was marched to Flagstaff House in those days to see Nkrumah, but I'd done something which woman was very angry. And I didn't think I was wrong. And I was worried, but Nkrumah wasn't somebody, he was a very big man. But you didn't want to go close to him. He was a powerful man.
Right.
You know, and I wasn't, because I knew that whatever I did was well intended. And I didn't fear to speak my mind. One thing which is happening today, if you are a leader,
yes,
you need people to advise you. You pick your running mate who become vice president, you pick your ministers.
Yes.
Very often we pick our friends. We don't pick people who are genuinely going to advise us in our best interest. We don't do that. It's been one of our big mistakes. And I think you mentioned I said President Mills.
Yes.
It's somebody I would, stand up and pray for his soul.
Right.
One year he became president. He called me and said, General, what do you want to do about the period? I want to be close to you so that with my experience and knowledge and so on, I can give you a little, when you are going wrong.
Wrong, yeah.
He said, you'll be my advisor.
Right.
Special security. I'll be driving. Then he called me on my phone, this very phone.
Right.
When he Mr. President, what can I do to help you? Which Magnum, don't they worry, man, I need your advice. And it not only one, he kept on doing that. One morning he called me when he was a member of office. Meanwhile, I had gone to a rally. I was also building a secondary school, moving a whole school as same as serving my president. He said, in your office, come, I need you in the office.
Yeah.
You're a crisis. And I need your advice. And I think that what we are lacking today, the quality of our leadership.
Yeah.
Not only the president,
that's right,
but those around him. That should be people who will speak to him about what is the truth. There's only one truth. Not to lie to him, not have the fear, have the courage to speak their mind. It's something we are lacking. And because I am always thinking of things to help. When you call me Wilson, say, General, I'm not afraid because I knew that I will not hurt you.
That's right.
Deliberately. I will not. I may step on your feet.
Yeah.
By accident.
Yeah.
But not
deliberate. Yeah.
Not deliberate. And many of our leaders, even my great man in Nkrumah, I was young.
Yeah.
But when I look back the last couple of years, but this shouldn't have happened. I was a captain in 1964. There was an attempt to kill Nkrumah at the Flagstaff House. I say called Flagstaff House.
Yeah.
Not Jubilee House.
Jubilee House.
It's always been known like that. And I was given the order to go arrest somebody. I didn't like it. But as an officer, given an order, you have to obey the order. And listen, today, if I was given that order to act upon, I will refuse and I will resign. We have conscience, and sometimes we're doing something to your fellow human being, you don't feel it.
Yeah.
But wrong is wrong. When many of these things have happened over and over and over again, and they keep on happening, we're getting the same results. Here are a few examples. The coup of 1966. I dreamed about it. I don't joke with my dreams. Then I understood the meaning of my dream later on. Anything you do about the armed forces, security force, think through very well.
Yeah.
We're dealing with people who are armed, who are who are trained to shoot to kill, not to maim. Army doesn't shoot in the air. They shoot you in the chest and make sure that you die. You don't deal with them, in a manner that will not, please anyone.
Yeah.
And I remember very well that even though to my mind at that time, as far back as that, he changed General O2, SJ02, and General Ankara. You wouldn't know them. Ankara from Osu here. I don't know where, but it's a gun anyway. He was a gun.
Yeah.
And then replaced them with General Bawa and General Ferry. The military doesn't like people interfering too much with their life for some reason, because they are armed. But these changes that took place also did play a role in overthrow of Nkrumah. There are bigger issues that came from abroad. One was seen to be a nuisance by the Western powers.
Yeah.
We wanted to get rid of him. But these things get them the excuse to actually get Ghanaian officers involved to remove Nkrumah from power. And as a young officer, didn't have much power to object. But if I came back, as far back as 1977, I was the chief of staff to General Kofu. You wouldn't know him.
Right.
And something was going to happen. And General Hamidu died about a year and a half, 2 years ago. At the Military Advisory Council, like Council of State, at Burma Camp, we stood up to say, look, this is something which should be avoided. It's wrong. Because we were trained to speak our mind, not to fear. But rather than the authority taking note of our objections and saying, look, let's look at it again, took action against us. And that would scare any civilian, even the military. Not everybody was born as brave as some of us are, but with courage. There's a difference between bravery and courage.
Yeah.
A short story. My father was, I've never seen a man tough like my father. And I was a little boy, something happened, and the chief came into his room. He tried to arrest the chief, and they had accomplices who actually pulled him back. The old man climbed the window and chased the chief to arrest him in the dark. Now, unless you are who you are, you are born with it.
Yeah.
That's right. I wouldn't fear to die. If I'm by the truth, I would do it.
Yeah.
So I would say most of the problem we're having today are because of the fact that we don't have leaders that have what it takes to run the country.
There's this issue which you have said over and over, and you are not the only person. A lot of people have said the same thing. The issue of leadership. And everyone says we don't have leaders, we don't have leaders, we don't have leaders. My question is, anytime we are celebrating some leaders that we've had, Nkrumah comes top, and everyone is celebrating Nkrumah. Nkrumah is a good leader. He's the one visionary. He has done this, he has done this, he has done that. There are those who celebrate other leaders, but generally, it looks like the average person celebrates Nkrumah. The question I'm asking is, what makes a leader? I mean, what kind of leader actually do we need? Looking at our current state and the kind of future that all of us will be so proud of as a country, what kind of leader do we need as a country?
You might be somebody that is human. I mean, you mustn't be like an animal. You must be human. You are a human being. Today, you have leaders around the world. I don't want to mention them, but you go to Europe, you can go to Middle East, you can go to wherever, and we have seen leaders that, would abhor you. You are a human being. You are dealing with human beings.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
Leader must think of the people you are ruling.
Yeah.
Let me be very practical here. You see, you do what has to be done.
That's right.
And I really want to be open about this here, because we are dealing with a situation which is sinking this country gradually, we are getting sunk. Now, when you have needs that have to be met, you have others which are not needs. I'm being very practical here. The road from XYZ,
yes,
the main road to Usu,
yeah.
Abado Usu, Tishinungwa, and then just drive on it and see how horrible the road looks like. Yeah. And I went to Winneba and I was told, oh, they're going to make the Winneba Road, Accra Road, do a carriageway. I said, don't be stupid. It will never happen. So they've got money ready for it. And I said, don't be stupid. It will never happen. So we don't tell the truth.
Right.
Not only in Ghanaians, but I think politicians all over the place, because of, in America, when you watch TV and see what's happening here and there, you want to weep. You want to weep, and so have a leader that loves his people, a leader that cares for his people, a leader that wants to die for his people. Talk about Nkrumah. You keep on going back to Nkrumah.
Yeah.
I was in London in 1965 as a young officer attending a course when Nkrumah came for his last heads of government conference at Marlborough House. That's far from Buckingham Palace. I was there, and he stayed with the High Commissioner Kwesiyama.
Okay.
In one bedroom. I was there. I saw it. Not that I was told. One bedroom, one room. That modesty. That modesty. Yeah. When your people are hungry, not to be able to buy garri to eat, you don't go and buy Land Cruisers and fool around with it. I mean, it's painful. It's painful. Yeah. When I was standing at the Jowolu traffic light, and I drive some very old cars, no air conditioning, so I can hear all the noise going around me. Then one of these Land Cruisers, passed with a motor rider, and the chap who was standing by me selling something was so furious in the morning, was even hungry or something. And the words he used against them, I can't repeat it here. Yeah. So unless you have what it takes to be a leader, so people come to parliament here to be a parliamentarian, and I can tell you they're coming here because they want to, they can make a living out of politics. You don't make a living out of politics. You come to serve. A leader comes to serve. When we vote for people, the president, the vice president, the team, to run the affairs of the state, I get the impression that people think that the power we are giving them belongs to them, and that they can do whatever they want to do with us. And I'm saying, I beg to differ. A democracy is a government of the people, by the people, for the people. We can't all come to Parliament House at Osu here and vote or take decisions. We vote and appoint people, call them president with a vice. And whatever they do, they must think of us. When I see us wasting money doing edifices like
is it a cathedral?
The cathedral. I get sick. I get sick because when I was waking up at 3 o'clock, to go and build O'Reilly. O'Reilly was being closed down. Yeah. Behind the cathedral, the
Holy Spirit Cathedral.
Exactly.
That's right.
And I saw it. I said, no, this has to stop. I took it upon myself to build the school and move the entire school to Teshi, to Opegono, myself. So even if I see that we are using money that ought to be used properly to build a house for God, I ask myself, if Christ was alive today, and I put a question to him, would you want to build a house for your father, or a house for those who are hungry on the street in Osu? We say, go and feed them. So, and I think that the problem is that the people that advise our leaders, if it was me, it would never happen. No, I would, President Mills, as I said before, called me and said, look, there's a war going on in Cote d'Ivoire. You are my advisor on security, on intelligence, on the military. What do you want me to do? The president, what time? I took 2 hours to educate him. You're not going to joke over it. You're going to kill people. Yeah. Now, you don't go to war just like that. The war must be the last resort. You can't do anything else. So, for Babu, in Kasa, for Watara, I'm standing there. That is what people are supposed to advise our presidents. Not party friends, not party cronies.
So it means we lack quality leader advisors.
That's part of the problem.
Right.
Because when you don't have such people, to come to you boldly and say, Mr. President, with all due respect, to be honest with you, if I were old enough in Nkrumah's time, and I got to know that Nkrumah was going to pass a law to detain people at Dank and others, I got to Mr. President, Mr. So please, I'd have done it, or I resign. I would have resigned because see, I feel strongly that I have a duty to protect my president. If you go in he's a human being. He was a human being.
That's right.
He wasn't God. And to err is human.
Yeah.
At one time, there was a problem with the Gina Champo, and I was chief of staff. I said,
yeah.
And I thought what was going to lead the whole nation astray, and it did. June 4th would never have happened.
Right.
So, the point is that the leader that we need, he must know that he is dealing with a major problem, and that he needs people that think like him, have a vision like him, help him to run the country. But I'm going to bring my friends, my party cronies, and so on, who have the fear even to advise me, then they wouldn't be helpful to you.
General, we've talked about leadership. We've talked about those surrounding leaders, our leaders, talking about our advisors. So if we do not have quality advisors, obviously the advice will not be quality. And it will affect the decision of the leaders,
right,
or how the leaders will be guided.
Yes.
And this will be the consequences.
Yes.
The other thing that a lot of people do not talk so much about has to do with the citizens themselves. So we try to blame the leaders almost all the time. Don't you believe that the citizens or the leaders that we do get are a reflection of the citizens? Such that this parliamentary example that you gave, or the parliament example that you gave, there are a number of individuals who are really doing so well in parliament. But most of them will end up losing their either primaries or the general elections just because the citizens, or majority of the citizens, believe that these people are not putting money in their pockets. And so the expectations of the citizens sometimes influences the caliber of leaders that we'll end up having. Don't you think citizens must also take some of the blame?
You are very right. I did a bit of politics myself. In 1996, I don't believe the military should play politics. I don't believe in it at all. When I left the military, I said to myself, but Parliament shouldn't be like this. Because your party is the NDC or NPP, and if they're going wrong, you support them. The party whip, so you go and support them. But knowing very well that what they are doing is wrong.
It's wrong, yeah.
So I said, I was going to go to Parliament and teach a bit of a lesson. And also, and I behave like an old soldier.
Right.
For me to go and give a bribe to you to vote for me, when I'm going to serve you, I will never do it. If you need money for something, I'll give it to you.
Right.
But to bribe you to vote for me, I will never do it. It's wrong. I am going to serve you.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that your children, yourself, get a better place to live. Why should I bribe you? I was campaigning with it for the NPP. I was asking for the NPP. And one of those days, a woman that, as soon as we appear, said, in a Futu language, in our language, no, I'm not going to vote for you. And my team said, oh, this woman, she's crazy. I mean, Jan, no, don't leave her. Won't come over. Go, I'm coming. Look at the woman. And when you are trained, like some of us are fast, you can think fast. And frankly, she looks so poor, so wretched. I look at her in the Futu language. I said, look, mommy, just look at your breast, your baby.
Yeah.
There's no milk in your breast. Your baby is chewing
the flesh.
The flesh. Then she looked at me. She looked at her breast. I hit her where,
exactly.
You have to just go into their mind, go into the brain. I said, it's not even you I care for. Your baby.
Exactly.
She's pathetic. And then I left her. The next day I was coming the same area and I saw they following me. He said the Futu language. What you told me, I thought I want to accept about it. Look, they would think. We tell them, you see, you are enlightened.
Yes.
Don't use their literacy and so on, and then cheat them. It's
Take
wrong.
Advantage of
Take
them.
advantage of them.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Yes.
And she told me, she came and said, I will vote for you. I swear. So you could change. It's like a biblical story. I changed your mind. So let's talk the truth. For me to bribe you to vote for me, it will never happen. But I'm going to serve you. I have to wake up at 3 o'clock at the rally, 3 o'clock, cook for the workers. And in 50 days, I put a 10 classroom block and moved the school. Come and bribe you for what?
General, did you win that election?
I lost.
So the reason why you lost, among other things, may be the fact that you could not change the mindset of majority of them.
That is true.
And so they would rather want to follow the one that will give them something today.
Yes.
Forgetting that whatever they are getting,
yes,
they are actually trading their future
yes,
for that.
Yes.
And so, yes, we may be able to influence a number of them, but unfortunately, or the sad thing is that majority will still fall for the bribe, for the little thing that will not last them more than a week. 67 years on, 31 years into the Fourth Republic, this has not changed.
No. It hasn't changed. But you see, I go back to 1951. Okay. I was in boarding school. Woman had just left the UGCC and formed the CPP in 1949. And I was in boarding school in Aguna, Sabah, not far from Winneba.
Yeah.
Ed was coming to Winneba. So I ran away from school. That exit to see Nkrumah for the first time. And here was a man that had prepared for power.
Right.
See, what reminds me, I don't know whether you've heard of this young man today. What's his name? Kwame Bediako.
Okay, yes.
Have you seen him personally?
Yes, not in person, no.
I've met him 3 or 4 times, just to find out whether he's serious. You see, Nkrumah came with all the educated people, the Dankwas, the Kofados, and Huawei and others. All educated.
Yeah.
Nkrumah broke away, and he was he had prepared himself for the job ahead.
Yeah.
He knew how to, like I said about this woman, that, wouldn't listen. But he came for people like me, unemployed, young people at school, and was able to change our mentality. So I am saying to you, for example, this Kwame Bediako, I've called him, and I was impressed. Because here's a man at the age of 43. And I was convinced that if the young people of this country don't wake up, there will be no future for them. I'm telling you very frank.
That's right.
Looking at the state of this country, and the NDC and APP, nothing will change after the next election. Nothing will change. Nothing. There's so much hunger on the way. I'm telling you. Today, if I've got the brain, eye to see, I've got my house, I've got a borehole.
Yeah.
And I've got plantain and so, but they're all dying, even though I'm watering them. Because hell is breaking loose. And the politician today in Ghana will tell you the untruth. But because you are hungry today, you're going to say, let me just follow the NPP for this. And I'm telling you, I don't know how long more I've got to stay, to live on this planet. But I don't want any young man to come to my grave and pour libation and say, General, you are right. Look, think of yourself. At my age, 88, I'm not going to. I've done enough. I'm tired. But I want my grandchildren to wake up. Wake up, because they have no future. See, the world is in a chaotic state, and nobody today is going to think of Ghana. There's a problem everywhere. So why wouldn't you roll up your socks and then tackle your problems? And I'm telling you, these problems can be tackled. They can be solved with able leadership. So the young people today, especially young people, 35 years, 45, was not even 40. Macron was what, 39? And this young man, 43. They should wake up. And nobody will build Ghana for you. Nobody. Look at the world today. Nobody. I was watching TV this evening. I think Zambia also. That almighty drought. We are in a drought situation, and food is going to be, you may have food riot if we don't take care in Ghana here. I'm telling you. There's no food. I want to Winneba, take my kinky and get some pepper with me to eat in Winneba. In those days when I was growing up, my father never knew where I was in Burma camp. I was chief of defense sir. He never came here. He didn't need me. But today, I have to run away from my telephone. People are just hungry. and
that's a sad reality.
It is sad, right? It's sad, but it can, if you have the right leaders, it can be tackled. I'm telling you, even at my age, it can be done.
We need the right leaders. This issue of winner takes all politics, did it happen under Nkrumah? Was Nkrumah engaged in winner takes all politics?
It all depends upon what kind of human being you are. what kind of human being you are.
Yeah.
If you are brought up that kind of attitude, I was driving down Kwasirek, my wife had a shop at Kwasirek. A man in traffic just called me, General. I said, yes, how can I help you? He said, oh, you pay my school fees in school. I paid your school fees when? So I came to you 2009. My father couldn't pay my school fees at Mfantsipim. And I came to you, somebody advised to come and see you, and you paid my fees then, not a term, not a year, but the entire period I was in Mfantsipim, you paid my fee. I swear God, by the Bible, by the Quran, I don't remember it. I didn't do it to remember it.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
Yeah.
So we need a bit of, and I see our parents know this. They weren't educated.
Yes.
But they fear the things that were told of the Bible. They fear them. That if you behave, badly, you go to hell. Today, you have gone to university. You know that no hell on anyone. They said you do all the wrong things and get away with it. I think we should not take advantage of our young and then our old illiterate people. But see, we are going to build a future. This country, if we don't take care. I don't want to be a prophet of doom. I don't want to do, because very often the things that I say happen.
Right.
I don't want it to happen.
Right.
So I am saying to the young people of age and so on, look, the future is for you. Don't sit down and say, I'm for MPP, I'm NDC. I am telling you, the way Ghana is being run today, nothing good will come out of this. No, I'm telling you from, and everybody can challenge me, and I will, debate with the person.
Right.
If you spend that, then I was watching television, I heard being thrown around about the money spent on the cathedral.
Yeah.
How many million so far? Some close to 50 million dollars.
It's almost $50 million.
And that money, I will build I will build all the schools with that money, I'm telling you. No, I mean, you didn't have to spend that kind of money.
Yeah.
And when people can't even get Gary to feed on, it's terrible. So let's be sensitive to the needs of the people. Let's feel for them, because when I see poverty like that, it makes me. I was driving in front of the American embassy, and I saw a Ghanaian young man from head to bottom without any clothes. I turned my head, I almost wept. See Ghanaians queuing at the embassy there.
So sad.
It's sad.
They just want to move out of the country.
They want to get out of Ghana.
They don't see any hope, or they don't feel like they are in a country where there's no hope. And so there's no hope for their future. Yes. They just want to move out of the country.
Get out of the place.
And the worst part is that in recent times, you are talking about America. There are some countries that you've not even heard of, and you hear Ghanaians struggling to go there. It tells you how sad the situation has become in this country.
So you have to give them hope. You have to give them hope.
Yes. And it is the hope that we are lacking.
It's that we are lacking. Because not that we are desperately poor. No. We don't apply our resources sensibly. We don't.
That's right.
That's why the youth have no hope for a good future. And I mentioned a few schools I built. Apart from Raleigh, I put up about 6 school blocks. And not that I am rich or wealthy, no, I'm not. But you have to prove that the little money you spend it properly and go very far.
You get a result out of it.
And
prudent management
right.
is what we need.
Yes, what we need.
And that is why I have always said that we don't need to introduce so many taxes.
No.
We don't need to go and borrow so much.
No.
What we need is fiscal discipline.
Yes.
If we're able to have fiscal discipline in this country, the country is so rich that we should be giving money to other.
No, Ghana is too rich to be poor.
We are too rich to be poor.
It's too rich. And I always use my own example. My parents were very poor. But I rose to become who I am. Under my own steam. Nobody helped me. Not because they didn't have the money. When there was a port, I used to go to the port and carry cocoa and cement and save every pesewa.
Yeah.
At the age of 20, I was shaving. I began going to school at the age of 20. Secondary school. No teachers, nothing. But I was able to go to a system and come with grade 1. Nobody ever had it in that school before. But I wanted to succeed.
Succeed, that's the word. Wanted to succeed. Generally, there are a number of messages. Our messages are piling up. Let's go through some few of them, and then we'll come back to some other questions that I want us to look at. This one says, good evening, Mr. Wilson. Thank you for bringing such a patriot, nationalist, and selfless Ghana first personality to the studio. He is non-conformist. So the greedy, selfish, and vampire political class leadership in Ghana don't like him. We need today's youth to emulate only them for tomorrow's Ghana. The political class leaders in Ghana can't provide waste-bin for the poor, ordinary citizens, but they sensibly use the taxpayers' money to buy Land Cruisers for themselves in the name of comfort and security for themselves. Ghana is governed by a political class hinged on hypocrisy and pretenders. And this is coming from John Achu Kakito from Teshi. John, thank you, one of our regular viewers and engagers. This one says Akufo-Addo and Bawumia came to this. Okay, let me just ignore this. This one says, we can build the Ghana we want when we stop this NDC and MPP kind of politics. We don't need politicians, but leaders to lead this country. Again, we need national policy and not a political manifesto. I am Isaac from Edu Jemfi SHS. I agree with you, Isaac. Great point for necessary action to ensure a meaningful future of Ghana. But I wish to emphasize that we need to have a meaningful separation of powers between the executive and legislature by getting ministers play their role outside membership of parliament, that's the legislature, without infesting parliament with their presence as representatives of the executive. The legislative duties require full-time attention, and same applies to the executive arm of government. This things done have never been right. Okay, sorry, I'm not getting it. Okay, set Abloso Accra. The latter part wasn't so clear. We need selfless leaders with open-mindedness. We should think beyond the ordinary and the future of Ghana. We need leaders who will not appoint their family members to become finance ministers of state in order to loot the state's money for their future use. I am MK Awukuvi Danyevo Mafi Adidome, Volta region. Okay, let's pause here. We'll come back to the messages, but there's one other thing I want us to look at, and that has to do with separation of powers. There are those that say that because of how we are the executive and the legislature seems to be intertwined. So parliamentarians ordinarily, instead of focusing on checking the executive, which is one of their basic duties, they would rather want to catch the eye of the executive so that the executive will appoint them into ministerial, deputy ministerial positions. And as a result, the executive seems to be having a field day. And that is one reason why Ghana is lacking true development. Do you agree to that?
You know, I don't want to worry too much about the Constitution. If you've got good people, see, you don't need a law to tell you, you know it is wrong. So don't do it. Don't say because the Constitution doesn't separate you formally from the executive. The reason why I wanted to go to Parliament, I said before, I didn't think things were being done sensibly. And I've been trained to think sensibly, do things the right way. So if people are by nature evil, you can bring the best constitution written by God himself, they will still be evil. Let's create good people. I don't think I need a constitution. As I sit here, to tell me what to do. I know what is right. If I'm the MPP, I'm the NDC. And things I know. Look, there were two times in the time of President Mahama. It was good advisor, one person male died. They fired Chief of Defense Staff. I was furious. It's wrong. At the time when your period is coming to an end, President, I have a good old friend, President Akufo-Addo, changed the Chief of Defense Staff.
Yeah.
To me, it is wrong. It's wrong that because you see, you are leaving office. Then you appoint somebody to save the man coming to replace you. It's wrong. You are interfering with administration.
Administration, yeah.
Deliberately, I know what they do it. It's not right. You see it in Russia, Putin had this. I've been there. I've studied in Russia before. I could speak Russian. I've stopped.
Right.
So and then it happened again. It happened before.
Yeah.
Mama, and then they all did it. But don't tell me because they knew it was wrong.
But they deliberately
did
do it.
To screw the work of the incoming. It doesn't help the country. See, the country is too precious for anybody to destroy it. This is our only heritage.
General, we are going into the 2024 elections, December. With all the experiences and the background that you have, what do you foresee happening in 2024 general election?
When I'm with you, I will be surprised if it goes very peacefully. I will be surprised. See, the politics has become a business. It's no longer coming to save. It's business. So if you have to kill, like Navalny had to die in Moscow for Putin to kill him. I mean, they don't have any scruples. It's a business and they will do anything. And so I don't personally have much hope for a peaceful election. I don't. If I go into election, like I did 1996, to serve, and I lost, it didn't hurt me. That night I was not happy, but it was gone. And the man who actually beat me in the election, Mike Hammer, I don't know whether you know him.
Yes.
We became very good friends.
Yes.
You're very good friends. I don't see it as a do or die business. Unfortunately, that's the way you see it.
Yeah.
So even if the constitution is there, and you know that it's wrong, you want the Bible to say, thou shalt not steal before you don't steal. Don't you know it's wrong?
It's wrong.
I mean, so they know the wrong.
Your conscience should guide you.
Your conscience should guide you. This is wrong. This is what we are lacking in Ghana today.
Yeah.
You know, we are not people of conscience. So, constitution, you can, as I said, God can write the constitution for you. You can still do the wrong things. So let's create. And I think, when did we lose this? I mean, my generation, there are very few of us left now. But our children and my grandchildren, our grandchildren, what went wrong? What did we lose?
In fact, that was the last question I was going to ask you. What do you think truncated it?
I believe that we, people of my generation, also have part of the blame to carry.
Right.
But life was very rough. I had to walk from Nao Clinic to Accra and back. So he said, look, there's a school near my house. Before they closed, they could line up the engine on to cool the car for the children to come inside the car. You are spoiling that child. That child, life is getting rough.
Rough, yeah.
So we didn't want our children to go through what we went through, and our grandchildren. We cushion things for them. It's not helping them. Life is rough. I spent 1 year in India, and I learned a lot. Outside the official learning day, I learned a hell of a lot. You know, I went to India again about 2 years ago, and I was very impressed. But I'd been there almost 50 years ago, and I went back 10 years ago, and I was very impressed. You know, Ghana was only a few years behind India. But I put a man on the moon, on the difficult side on the moon. They are moving ahead. There are still problems. I don't expect Ghana to be without problem, no, but we must be making progress. If you have good people, you will make progress. So I don't believe in you know, separating power from the... Look, the NDC NPP are in cahoots. They sky each other's back. So when one is in power, the other one just, you know, they just exchange. And the lot of the ordinary people will not change.
Not change.
I'm telling you, it will not change.
That makes it very sad. And that means that the future of Ghana is not...
It's
I
very
mean, if
sad.
it continues this way,
Yes,
then
it's
the
sad.
future of Ghana is actually very weak.
When I look back in Nkrumah's time, how Ghana was resurrecting.
Yeah.
When I went to Britain, I never dreamt I would ever step into a secondary school, let alone go to Sandhurst, the topmost military school in the world, and be adjudged to be the best of my class in Britain, not here in Ghana. A fisherman's son. I'm very proud of it. And I didn't joke there. So if I cannot do it, well, you can do it. Anybody can do it.
Everybody can do it.
Everybody can do it.
Your very last words as we bring the show to an end. Again, as I indicated, 7th of December 2024, we are going to have an election. One focus of this program is to build the mental capacity of our viewers in making the right decisions. Because we realize that decision making as far as elections are concerned has to do with your life, the future. And it is not a child's play. So you don't think just going to the booth to cast your votes, that few minutes is what matters. No. That few minutes actually determines your future. And it can make or unmake your future. What is your advice to our viewers in line with 2024 general elections?
First of all, I have confidence in the Electoral Commission. The current one, those before are fragile. You know, I mean, they will do their best, but their best will not be good enough for you. That doesn't mean they're not doing their best. And I don't want the military to be involved too much. The soldiers, we are not trained to handle people that the police are trained to do. Soldiers by training are rough. So let the police, let the institutions which have been set up. Internal security is not the work of the military, of the police. Let them do their job. If they cannot cope with the pressures of the work, they can ask for military to help.
Right.
But don't get the military with guns in the villages. I mean, I don't like to see that. It's not right. Let the military stay back. And if the police need them to help, of course they will do it. But there's been a time in the past where the military have been used as a policeman. Yes. It's wrong. Let everybody think of Ghana. That's the only country we have. People are run away. I've been away I went on self-imposed exile for 10 years in Britain, and I came back. You know, that is a matter that we can talk about later
right.
on. But let each one show some love toward this country. It's the only country we have. We go abroad and live there. The thing is, I met people 2 days ago. I'm going to Canada. I said, I live in Canada. It's not heaven. You can make Canada here. You can make it here. It's not heaven there. I've been to the United States. I've been to India. I've been to Russia. Ghana is a wonderful place. So let's make it.
Let's make it the way we want it. That's the most important thing. It takes leadership. It takes citizens orienting their minds. It takes us ensuring that the right things are done. Not necessarily the Constitution, the conscience of ourselves. If it is right to be done, let's ensure that the right things are done. We need to vote the current crop of leaders out of power because of the corruption and total waste of Ghana's financial resources. The use of our financial resources for their parochial interests is just unthinkable. And this is coming from Awukuvi from Volta region, who says, good evening, Uncle Emmanuel. Good evening. Things done by halves have never been done right, and what must be done must be done. This is Seth from Accra. Unfortunately, this is where time will allow us. As I indicated, today's episode was supposed to be a bit different from the normal or the other episode because we are supposed to have a sober reflection of our journey so far, and that is what exactly we have done. I think we couldn't have had any better guest to help us with this than the guest that we have now, General Nunu Mensah. General, what's the difference? Brigadier General or General?
You know, if you want to get promotion quickly in the military, don't speak too much. I speak too much. No, so they won't promote. No, I'm being very frank. You know, keep quiet. You get Lieutenant General, I mean, they'll promote you. If I know it, nobody will mind you.
So General, and then Brigadier General. Are they the same rank?
No. Brigadier General is the youngest of the generals.
Oh, okay. Okay, so he's part of the general, but,
the first youngest, step,
yes.
The first step,
yes.
Brigadier General.
Yes.
Then Major General, Lieutenant General.
I get it.
And then General.
General.
If we're lucky, then Field Marshal. Montgomery and others became Field Marshal.
Right. So we have with us General Nunu Mensah, our own. General, I want to thank you so much.
We
want to thank you so much. We've learned so much from you. God richly bless you for spending this time with us. God richly bless you.
Thank you.
Viewers, this is where time will allow us. This coming Wednesday, this episode is going to be repeated on this same platform, TV XYZ, at 11 a.m. Next week, we are also going to have another episode which is going to be interactive and very, very interesting, as we've always had. I just want you to know that the future of Ghana is in your hands. It's not in the hands of any political party. Ghana is the only country you have. And I have always said that in Nkrumah's time, we never knew that CPP will get to the level it has gotten to. But Ghana is still Ghana. What it tells you is that today you may have any political party flying high. Don't sacrifice the interest of Ghana for that political party, because political parties will come and go, but Ghana will remain Ghana. Just have that at the back of your mind and let that be part of the reflection that you are getting from this episode. So we meet again next week. It is still Emmanuel Wilson Jr., your host, with Politics and Beyond, your transformative program, and I say good night.